Yay. All right, I'm going to put you over there. We're going to go here. Awesome. Well, it said we had like 9 people sign up. So we'll see how many actually joined us on Zoom. But we have YouTube Live. And how's your day, Misty?
It was good.
Beautiful day. All right. I think what I'm going to do first is I want to just do a general what's going on in the world this week, 3 card layout of just a read of the energies of this week. So through the weekend and see what is going on. And then we'll move into the reflections of the tarot cards. All right, guys. Got one. Ooh. So today is Tuesday, August 19th. I cannot believe how fast this month has gone. It just seems like things are getting busier, faster all the time. So looking at this week, 9 of Swords. This is like, it just seems to be this continually building up of energy, which is creating a lot of inner conflict and strife about what to do. Like, I just feel like the energies are churning up so much. And this 9 of Swords really represents a lot of inner child, shadow work. I call them aspects, and they're all coming to the front to be resolved. And they can be resolved fairly easily if you just acknowledge them and give that intention of letting them go. But it does bring up a lot of anxiety. It brings you up in the middle of the night when you are having dreams or nightmares, or maybe just memories. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's like, she had this memory from when she was a small child, and she really correlated it to some trauma that she had received and had been trying to heal, but had never really understood or recognized or remembered where it came from. And this memory just popped out of nowhere. And that's what's happening for a lot of us right now, is a lot of things are coming up. A lot of things need to be recognized. But you recognize them, you let them go, and then you can move on. So we have 5 of Wands. Now, 5 of Wands, again, you see the struggle. I mean, the struggle is real, people. The struggle is real. And that 5 of Wands, there's that inner conflict, an outer conflict. It's like nothing feels like it's in common. What does that mean? It means that how we dealt with things before are not how we can deal with them now. And that can be really, really challenging. I'm going to switch. I just noticed my YouTube Live, it's got the wrong video going. So Michael has to learn how to fix that. I'm going to unpin this. How do I fix that? I don't know if I can fix that. Technology. This is, I can talk cards all day long, but technology drives me nuts. Trying to get everything to run the way it's supposed to. All right. I don't think I can change that. So what I will say for the YouTube, people watching on YouTube, if you join michaelhart.com and join the free Zoom link, you'll be able to see the cards. And next week, I'll remember how to connect us so that we can all see the cards. All right, so continuing on for what's going this week is this clash, this inner angst about what is going on. And it is a struggle because, there's not a lot of information out there about how we deal with this inner conflict. And this is what's coming up. And what's interesting is this, to me, is really representative of the inner conflict. This actually seems to be more of the outer conflict. And I don't read a lot of news and headlines, but if it just feels like there's a lot of stuff out there going on right now where there's no agreement between people. People are really struggling. That polarity of I'm right, you're wrong really is playing a huge role in what's going on this week. Six of Swords, and we have it in reverse. Again, difficult transition, resistance to change, turmoil. So boy, this is the beginning of the week. I don't know. Misty, how's your week been going? Does it look like it's going to be this rough?
A little bit. We're back to school time and I cut hair. So
Yeah, I mean it's getting real. So Nine of Swords, Five of Wands, and the Six of Swords in reverse just seems to really indicate that there is a lot of conflict, whether it's internal or external. But the cool thing is, and I want to give people hope, and because there is a lot of hope in this situation, the hope being that the realization that we're moving into a transitional time, and to get the really great thing of what we desire, to have the energy that we want to have clear and have peaceful times, we have to go through the struggle to get to there. I always tell people, like, things have to crash and burn before they can be regenerated in a more positive way. And that's definitely what's happening in this time frame right now. Is everything is just kind of dismantling and releasing its hold on old ways of doing things so that new ways can be revealed. And the increase of energy that's coming in is significant. And this new moon that's coming up on Saturday, this is a time where we start remembering, we've always talked about the veil that keeps us in amnesia of who and what we truly are. And that veil is thinning, the veil of forgetting who and what we are. And to really step into that remembrance, we have to go through this releasing of the old. And whenever we release, people don't want to release. They want to hold on to things, and it makes the releasing harder. Whereas if you just acknowledge it and recognize it and just allow it, it's smoother waters. So as much as possible, if you can just witness it, acknowledge it, and let it go without getting into it. Because being an emotional holistic healer as I am, I see so many people who want to understand it, want to know why it's there, and want to, talk about it. You don't have to. Like, you just have to recognize it and go, okay, I'm done with that. I'm over it, and move away from it. But that recognition, that acknowledgement is important to allow it to be released. So, challenging week, but it's going to propel us into that next stage that we're really wanting to be. Hey, Laura, how are you? All right, so we're going to, what we have, I do 4 different layouts that you guys can be interactive with. And my first question that I've got here for us, or the first flop of cards here, spread, is we're going to ask the cards, what is the seed within you that is your potential gift? What is in you growing to be released out so that you are following in the path that you are meant to be on? So this is called the seed within. And then I'm going to pull 3 cards. You're going to pick which card you feel is right for you. And then we'll talk about each card. You can see how it aligns with that intention of knowing what's the seed within you. So this is your potential or gift that's still growing inside of you to be released. And so we're going to bring out 3 cards. And again, I'm using a traditional tarot deck, but it has the words on it just to make it easier for everybody. You get to pick whether your card, 1, 2, or 3 intuitively. Which card is yours, 1, 2, or 3? And then we will cover what each of these cards. So when we're looking at this card that you've picked, we're going to ask these questions like, what part of you is just beginning to take shape? How is it relating to the card that is shown? Or how can you nurture this piece of yourself so it grows stronger? Or maybe what happens if you trusted this potential that you have selected? So pick your card, 1, 2, or 3. And this is going to be card number 1. We've got 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Now, this is the card around asking for help. Guys, we need help. Like sometimes we are acting like islands, and I'm really bad at this. Of, like as an example, I needed to have some little remodel job in the store, and I'm like, I can do that. But someone volunteered the other day about helping me, and I actually said yes. I was like, you know what? Yeah, come on in and help me. And it was so nice to actually have that help. And we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to ask for help. We are definitely going through those difficult lessons because, like I said, we just looked at the week. Everything is got a lot of internal struggles as well as the outer struggles. And what about using those spiritual resources to cope? Now, I love for you to just look at the picture. And so in reverse, this is the picture, but in reverse, it's going to be, see, whatever hits you on this picture. So look at this guy. It's almost like Tiny Tim from It's a Wonderful Life, the other movie, Grinch. Terrible. So anyway, the 5 of Pentacles, and then we have this woman who is all cuddled in and leaning towards that. You almost feel like the wind is blowing against her, right? See if there's anything in there that resonates for you. What is the first thing you notice on that card? What is the vibe that you get when you first get that card? And then asking yourself these 3 questions of, how is this within my seed? When I look at this, if I were to get this card, so this looks like very desolate, right? This looks pretty cold. It looks like winter, but this card came in reverse. So in reverse, it's like the opposite. So maybe this is like summertime. It's a much easier thing. You're going to get the help that you need. Whereas if it was in this state, means that you aren't getting what you're looking for. This is, you are getting what you are looking for. But with that, there might be difficulty in the lessons that require you to do that. All right, if you pick card number 2 for your seed within, ooh, the Magician. How cool is that? The Magician, he represents a lot of his ability. He's a magician, right? So he can transform things. This is alchemy at its best. The Magician is somebody who has studied and has educated himself, right? So he has a much bigger and greater understanding of things. Because he's taken all that time to do the studying and the experience, he has a very confident power. He's very aligned with his knowledge and wisdom and acknowledges it. And he has all the resources he needs. Like he knows how to bring all the pieces that he needs into play. Think of a spell, you bring in all these different pieces to create a whole. He knows how to do that. So how does the Magician align with the seed within? And I think the Magician would pretty dang cool card to be your seed, because it means that you're moving into that state of utter confidence. You're moving into this ability to use all the tools that you already have and use it in a very skillful way. And we call it the Magician, but the Magician can be across any platform. So, usually with people, we talk about their career or their love life or their financial status. As the Magician, you're the pinnacle of any of those, because you can do that skillful action no matter what the topic is. Or maybe it's the topic that you are the Magician in, if that makes sense. So it's a beautiful, wonderful card. I love this. Nice. All right, our third one is the Hermit. So this card is about going inward. It's about going and even this, what we do here with the Tuesday Tarot, it's about self-reflection. It is about finding the answers within yourself. It is about getting past all the programming that you've been taught. It's about opening yourself to hearing your own inner wisdom, your own intuition, your inspiration, and finding the answers within. I'll tell you, people do not find answers outside of themselves. They can find breadcrumbs, but you're never going to really know yourself unless you find yourself inward. You have to recognize your shadows. You have to listen to your heart. You know, every symptom that you have, whether it's emotional or physical, is your energy, because your physical body is just a representation of your energy field. So any symptom, whether it's emotional or physical, is a representation of something in your energy field. And it's telling you constantly what's going on. I had a woman come in today at the store and she wanted something for her boyfriend, because a crystal for her boyfriend whose elbow was hurting. And I was like, well, there's not really a crystal for hurting elbows, but there is a crystal for the emotional component that would create the pain in an elbow. So we can look at what the emotional component of that is and then find the crystal that aligns with that. And when we went into elbows can represent anger. And we went down a list of things about things that it could represent. And she selected that there was a frustration and anger because he wasn't really moving forward. And when I tapped into his energy, I could just see how he wasn't releasing a lot of energy. So they showed me that he really needed a tiger's eye, and tiger's eye crystal is helping you ground your energy, so that energy field that's surrounding you, it'll sweep down more into the earth properties to be cleansed. And that's the beauty of grounding, is grounding helps you cleanse your energy field so it's clearer, then brings more clarity to you. So that's always fun to help people correlate how all these things work together. So first question being the seed within. This is your card that is pointing to your potential of being able to get the help you need, the potential of being that confident power to be able to transform the things in your life the way you need or want. And then the hermit, that introspective. And that's a powerful seed, because if you're on the spiritual journey, this, I tell you, is how you grow the most in moving into spiritual alignment. Yeah, what a cool layout for you. All right, so let's go to number 2. See what we've got. Number 2, we have, this is going to ask, what is the bridge that you're crossing? So what is, this card is going to reflect the path of the transition that you are on, which is moving from one phase of life into another. And you know, when we did that flop about what the cards were telling us about this week, this is a big week of transition. This is a week of really moving into, and you know, I keep saying, it seems like all I do is talk about new and improved energies, but it is just growing every day, every week. And every time we move into a new and full moon, it's really opening even higher levels of those energies. And none, that's never receding. So it just keeps growing higher and higher. All right, so this card is going to represent the bridge that you're crossing. All right, we got number 1, number 2, number 3. All right. Again, this card's going to reflect the path of your transition that you're currently in, moving from one phase to another. So the first card we have is the Knight of Cups. I'm going to show this. The Knight of Cups is the first card. You get to intuitively choose number 1, 2, or 3. Forgot to tell you that before I flip that one over. But number 1, 2, or 3, intuitively choose which one's yours. That first one is this Knight of Cups. So this is talking about you being able to transition into a place, I love this, where you're feeling more empathy, where you are being more guided by your feelings and emotions. And this is a good thing. Our society tells us to really shut down feelings and emotions for the most part because it makes other people uncomfortable. And sadly, what that does is it never allows us to truly process our emotions and feelings. Instead, what we're doing is just something else for someone else to make them comfortable instead of really doing what we need for ourselves. So the bridge that you're potentially crossing here is to be able to move into a place where you can fully embrace your feelings and emotions in a very healthy way. And that is a really neat card and really reflects those cards that we were talking about for this week. If you chose not card number 2, we have the 4 of Wands. You chose card number 2, 4 of Wands. So this is talking about that you could be crossing the bridge into, it's almost like moving into a much more solid foundation. I love this. So this really represents too about the cards that we were seeing for the week, because this is where we're headed. We're moving into a much more solid foundation. Look at this card. They've got their cool little castle in the background. They've got their arms up holding their bounty of harvest that they have. And even this really, this here really represents the bounty of the harvest that they are receiving. 4 is a number of solid. It's like having 4 table legs. So it's a very solid number and energy. And it's a time to celebrate. It is, it's wonderful because it's like you've done all the work to get you to that point, and now you're getting the rewards. So 4 of Wands, that is really cool. It's a milestone into the next stage. If you chose card number 3, we have, what is this? 3 of Wands. I should have looked at it. 3 of Wands. This transition is talking about you're making the progress. You're building the momentum. You're starting to expand. But it represents that you're doing the work that's necessary. And these are all just really all 3 great cards because it's a transition all into a better way of being. And it's not always comfortable, the shifts and changes that we're doing right now. But this is kind of like the thing that can give us hope, because it's like here, we can do better. We are just going through a transitional phase. And that is really amazing because, I want to give people hope. If things are going to get better, it's just a matter of staying on this path, going through this bridge that you're crossing so that you can move into this next phase. Yeah. Looking forward, committed to the plan. Nice. I like that. All right. Our question number 3. Let's find out what your shadow is. What is the shadow that you're experiencing that creates the challenge, the fear, or the resistance of you accepting your own wisdom? This is huge. And, I keep talking about this energy that's coming into us because it's bringing up these pieces, the shadow within us, so that we can see those pieces. So maybe these cards can help you identify what that is if you've had a hard time acknowledging it. And keep in mind, when you look at these cards, you just kind of instinctively feel the right answer for you, because there's a lot of different answers within one card. And when you rely on your own subconscious to guide you into feeling that answer, and learning how to trust it, this is what's going to help you move into that level of wisdom. All right, we're going to have 3 cards. And again, we're going to have you intuitively pick with this statement of the shadow that teaches me, which card is right for you. Intuitively select which one is yours. Card number 1, card number 2, or card number 3. So the shadow that teaches me, card number 1, we have the 7 of Swords. Showing YouTube there. All right, so this 7 of Swords is this idea that we have to be hiding our true self, really, because we don't need to be sneaky or deceptive or cheat or get away with something or scheme our way into things. You know, our true self, this thing that we're thinning the veil to receive, it is a full-hearted acknowledgement that you are the I am presence, that you are sovereign, that you can receive everything that you need. And when you're truly fully in that I am presence, the shadow recedes and you stand in it and you stay strong. You are confident, you have wisdom, you have no need to be deceptive or tell lies. I tell people, as we move into these new higher dimensional states, you cannot lie. And this might be hard to comprehend, but in a higher dimensional state, lying is not possible. And this, I think, is kind of what we're talking about, is that we need to realize how in our polarity existence on the 3D Earth right now, there we do a lot of lying. We hide our true self. We try to control things, which allows us to think we can scheme our way, that we can plan and do different things so that we can get our own way. Scheming and deception means we don't feel worthy enough that we can receive just because of who we are, that we have to do something outside of just who we are to get what we want. And so we tend to turn into these sneaky ways of doing things to get the thing we really desire. But when we are really have gotten to the point where we have consolidated our shadows or integrated them fully into the I am presence and become truly sovereign, this need or want to be sneaky fades away. And keep in mind that deception and being sneaky is a wounded aspect. It's the part that says, well, we can't do it any other way. So it's not like we need to judge that piece of ourselves, but we just have to witness it and realize that it's coming from a pain-filled part of itself. It doesn't think it can do it any other way. So this is a shadow that a lot of people have. It's depressive. So card number 2 is the 6 of Swords. Card number 2 for this, 6 of Swords. The 6 of Swords, with a shadow in the 6 of Swords, you know, the 6 of Swords is about getting from being from a very turbulent space into a more calm space. And this is actually what I was talking about. When we identify our shadows, and integrate them, we actually become much more in peace with ourselves. We are able to relax because it is our aspect that holds the trauma that creates our want to create turmoil. Our aspects are the ones that hold our pain. And so they're the ones that get easily triggered. But when you have integrated them, those triggers just go away because you've integrated the aspect that was creating them and they were doing it from their pain. No judgment of that. We love them, or we need to learn how to love them. And they do it, you know, from their perspective, they think they're trying to protect us. And with this idea of, well, no, you don't understand. We've done it before and it didn't work. And we don't want you to forget that it didn't work. So we want to protect ourselves by, you know, it's kind of like if you had broken up with somebody, they'll want to protect by, oh, we can't ever talk to them again, or we don't want to be in love again because that was a painful experience. So the trauma piece is, from their perspective, trying to protect us by not getting us back into a situation that was once painful. But the goal here, as we integrate them, that pain can go away and you open yourself up to more possibilities. So we are moving from this turbulent to the calm, from the wounded to the healed, from the unsettled to the settled, from letting go to receiving our wisdom. So this is the journey of that. And, we have to recognize that we are on that journey and having compassion for ourselves as we take that journey. All right, if you picked card number 3, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles for card number 3 on our question number 3. So the Queen of Pentacles. So this is a very down-to-earth card. The Queen of Pentacles, she's very practical. Pentacles represents the material. So the resourcefulness. But also because she's the queen, she has that very motherly care, can be very home-centered because, again, it's a very physical place. And nature. Pentacles are all about that earth energy. So the shadow, what's the shadow within the Queen of Pentacles? If you get this card, I would actually look at what comes up for you when you just look at the card. The shadow can be around being practical. It can be around being in nature. It can be around finding ways to work with what you've got, that resourcefulness. Maybe you have the things that you need, and maybe you just haven't recognized that yet. So this is a card that, again, what are some of the questions we have on this? What part of myself do I often push away that shows up here? So when you look at your card that you selected, what part of this card do you feel like you're pushing away that this card represents? So like here, that motherly care, are you pushing away that motherly caring of maybe your children, or maybe it's your animals, maybe it's motherly care of the home you're in? What lesson is hidden inside the challenge here? How can you find a lesson with what you're experiencing around whichever card you got? Or how could the shadow that this card represents actually be protecting or guiding you? And this goes back to, like I said, the wounded aspect. The shadow, always, they say they want to protect us, but in reality, they're just staying in their pain and trying to avoid a similar situation. So that is information, that is guidance all by yourself. If you're receiving any emotional trigger, it's allowing you to know what the emotion is. So when I work with people, if you are being triggered, diving into what that emotion is and witnessing it. Now, sometimes we have emotions, though, that we don't like. Like, I think shame is a big one that some of us carry. And so if you're feeling shame, I want you to know that doesn't mean that it's true that you need to feel shameful. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that at some point in your existence, you kind of self-judged yourself on that, saying, oh, I should feel shameful. Did you? Not necessarily, but how we are taught in our life, and the people we've surrounded ourselves with, as a child, we're taught all these things, right? And we bring in a lot of preconditioning about what is right or wrong. So if you've had that preconditioning, it's very common to feel like, oh, I should be ashamed of that. And it's not true, but it is important to recognize that you are feeling shameful and just witnessing. Like I said, emotions don't mean that they're true. It just means that it's there somewhere in your energy and needs to be witnessed and released, because you don't need to hold on to it anymore. And you don't even have to really even figure out where it came from, which is what I think people overdo when they identify an emotion. Well, why did I get that? Where did it come from? Let me tell you, in this new energy, it's so easy to release things. You don't have to get into the whys and wheres of it all. And it actually will tumble you more into the energy. And you don't need to do that. You just need to acknowledge it and go, I see you, I witness you, and I don't need you anymore. I don't need to believe that anymore. And that will help release it and integrate the aspect that is wounded. All right. So that is about the shadow. We got one more. So our fourth layout is going to be about what is your gift? What is the gift that you can offer? And this card is a reminder of what you have that you can share with the world. Because every single one of us has a gift. Every single one of you. And sometimes we have that gift so prominent within us that we really don't understand that it's there or appreciate it even sometimes. I am sorry, I haven't been looking at the chats. Oh, thank you for telling me what you got. So Laura has been telling me, and I'm just now recognizing this. I'm curious on if they've been holding true to your experience. We'll talk more about that. I'm going to do this one more flop, and then we'll rehash some of this. All right, so this one is going to be, what's the gift that you carry within you, that you're holding, that is meant to be shared? I love this. I love this question. So pick the card of 1, 2, or 3. We've done our little flop here. So card number 1, we have the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups, if this is your gift, this is a wonderful gift. And I just do not think that you can get any better in this, because we all need this. That it's about empathy for others and yourself. Empathy, sympathy, compassion. I want to talk, compassion is such an amazing concept. And I think it's sometimes hard for us when we're dealing in this polarity of always thinking that we are black and white and right or wrong. Compassion is, you don't have to choose. Compassion is, you're having an experience, and whatever your experience is, it's right for you. And I'm not here to judge your experience, but I do have compassion for what you're going through. I don't need to agree with it. I don't need to disagree with it. But I can sit back and go, wow, we are amazing, creative, energetic beings who are having these very tough human lives. And having compassion allows you to recognize that without judgment. It's kind of like just sending unconditional love without needing to know more. And this is a beautiful gift. I think it is the most powerful gift that we can have, to be able to go into the real world and interact with people. And they're all a little crazy right now. They're all a little unhinged. Even in the store, we're getting some people, and we have the best customers of all time, but you can just see the wildness in their eyes when they come in looking for the solution. They want a solution so bad. And it's hard for people when they are really being pushed to the edge, backed into the corner, to be told that the answers are within themselves, right? It's really hard for you to comprehend that. So we really have to be in compassion for people who are going through what they're going through. And obviously we do everything we can to help, but we also want to empower people. We can't do it for somebody else. That you have to do it for yourself. So holding that compassion for other people, and embracing emotions is such a big part of this Knight of Cups. So I love that. So what other gifts can you offer? If you chose card number 2, the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. Love his horse. Big, strong, black. So the Knight of Pentacles is, oh, this is great. This is about, be straightforward. We are in a society right now where this cancel culture of, if you don't say what I want you to say, then you're dead to me, is kind of out of control. It's not very compassionate. So if we moved into compassion and we were to look at the Knight of Pentacles, we should be able to speak our truth. We should be able to say what our truth is without the fear of overreactions from others. And this Knight of Pentacles is about being able to, and when I say speak your truth, a lot of people think that you have to do that in a way that is overly harsh. And I am very blunt. Like, I'm one of the most blunt people I know. When I moved to the South, people would go, "Oh, I forgot you're from the North." Because I would just be very to the point and blunt. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm just trying to get to the point across, right? If I say all the fluffy, flowery things that people want to hear, you're not going to get what you need, especially as a life coach, as a healer. You don't want me to tell you just what you want to hear or what your friend would tell you to soothe you. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to tell you, let's look at this a different perspective. So that's, to me, what the Knight of Pentacles is about being honest. And again, not in a confrontational way. It's about, can we look at something and realize that there are many sides to the same thing, that you can look at, there's a story about these Chinese men, and they're all blind, and they're all touching a different piece of an elephant, and they all are describing the piece that they have. And because they're blindfolded, they can't recognize that all the different pieces they're feeling. Like, one is feeling the leg of the elephant and it's a trunk. And then one of them feels like it's a branch. And one of them feels like it's like a tree moving because of the ears and because of the what's the thing on an elephant? The snout. And so they all describe it in a different way, but it's the same thing. That's the way truth is. I'm not trying to take away your truth. I'm giving you just another side of the cube, of the elephant. I'm just showing you another side. You still get to decide what your truth is. I'm not taking away your ability to know what your truth is, but I do want to give you more information on defining what your truth is. So to me, that's what the Knight of Pentacles is for this gift that you can offer. If you picked card number 3, we are the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. So the gift, this is all about gifts. Look at this beautiful gift. It even says, this is the gift of prospering. I'm ready. Are you guys ready to prosper? Are you ready to move into an energy that fully supports you and can just kind of carry you along on a wave instead of feeling like you're drowning in the ocean? This is the Ace of Pentacles. This is allow the energy to support you. Yes, and that's actually what I'm hearing. Like, they're not even letting me read the words. They want you to know this is an energy of it's supporting you. What does that look like? This is a tough one for us who were taught that we have to work hard, that we have to have a plan, that we have to, take all those steps that make sense on the pros and cons list. When you're on the Ace of Pentacles, with the way they're describing it to me right now, is allow it to serve you, which means that let those little beautiful synchronicities happen and come and interact with you easily without you having to go find them. They're going to find you. Now, that does not mean you do nothing. That does not mean you sit home on your couch and wait for them to show up in your house. It means that you have to live your life, that you need to follow inspiration, that if you go, ooh, I want to go and walk downtown tonight, that you do that you allow yourself to follow your inspiration. And that allows the energies to create these beautiful intersecting synchronistic moments that will help you. Allow energy to serve you. This is an energy, this new energy that's coming in. It is like you are good enough. You don't have to do a thing to, let me rephrase how I said that. You don't have to do a specific thing to be worthy of receiving. You're already worthy. You're already worthy. Now you just have to drop the energy of your unworthiness so that you can attract the stuff that you're looking for. So the questions on this one is, what unique quality or talent is ready to be expressed? So again, we can talk about empathy. We can talk about just being in your truth. And we can talk about allowing the energy to serve you. Who or what in my life could benefit from me sharing this gift? Yeah, that's a great question for you to, this, as much as we talk about this as our inner work, that we're doing the work, we have to figure it out for ourselves. We are on a planet where there's a lot of others. And what I want you to know, though, is that your guidance will never give you or suggest something to you that is also not it's always going to also benefit others. Even if it's something that as humans, we would judge as, oh, I shouldn't do that. And as an example, when I went through my first divorce, that was a huge learning time for me because I had to start go into compassion and realizing that if I was being guided to get a divorce, which was so against everything I believed at the time, you got married, you stayed married. And my spiritual team was coming in going, you don't understand, because I was saying, well, it's not fair to him. It's not fair to the kids. Why should I do that to them? And they're like, we would never give you guidance that was detrimental to them. If we're giving you guidance to do it, it's also to their benefit. So, and they said they may not recognize that right away, but it is to their benefit. And I saw it like after we got divorced, my husband changed, or my ex-husband changed completely. He was doing things he would never have done as my husband. And I was kind of a little jealous because I was like, why couldn't you have been doing those things when we were married? But whatever, it was still good for him. And it was really, really good for me. Like it set me free. So keep that in mind. How would it feel if you offered these gifts without holding back? Because we know we want to be in these energies, right? Can you do it without being triggered? Can you do it in that full-heartedness? Yeah, awesome. All right, so how did you guys do with picking your cards? Were they aligned with what, I mean, could you see how it was playing out in your reality? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Am I supposed to be on camera or am I supposed to be
it's okay. When there's so few of us here, it's fine.
Okay.
So, I mean, your voice will show up on YouTube, but your picture won't.
I was like, okay, well, I didn't want to like clock off on it, like turn it off in the middle of you talking.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Like I said, when there's such a small group, it's nice to be able to talk, right? So, yeah. So what'd you think? Which
Uh,
one,
which one?
yeah, which
Like
one do you feel? I mean, do you feel like they all were true for your,
they all aligned. Yeah.
yeah?
Mhm.
Did you get any aha moments out of that?
Um, I guess the biggest one for me was like the bridge that you're crossing. It's like
Which one was your bridge?
the Three of Wands. Yeah.
And how's that fitting into what's going on with you right now?
It's like, well, I went into your store. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I was there for a meeting because I live like away from y'all. And so I'm new. I'm new. I've always been interested in this, but again, I was raised in a very southern way of thinking.
Sure.
And so as I did, I went through a divorce, and so it's like I'm combating the things that I know in my gut and everything is true because I research, I read and I read. And so things are starting to come to I don't know the right word, become clear to me.
Yeah.
But in the backside, it's always you got that voice saying this isn't like, but this is wrong kind of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm going.
Okay. So that's that inner conflict that I was talking about. It's about these aspects that are trying to hold on to their opinion, even though you are undergoing a shift and kind of deciding what you want your truth to be.
Right.
So just stay in awareness of that. And if an emotion does come up that you're being triggered with, that you are giving yourself that grace, that compassion to witness it and say, you know what? I'm good. I don't need it anymore. This is my new truth.
Yeah.
You get to pick what your new truth is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Misty.
No problem.
Laura, did you have something you wanted to share? I thought Laura took herself off the mute. Laura, you don't have to. Nope, she put herself back on mute. She's good. All right. Well, this has been fun. Yeah, so I'll be here again next Tuesday, and we have new moon coming up this weekend, which I think I've been a little behind on getting my stuff scheduled for the virtual stuff, but I believe we have a virtual event at 1 for the new moon, and then we also have the in-person at the store at 4. So, and those are free events. And then I have a whole slew of things that I've been working on that I'm going to be putting up to, again, just do this inner work and find our way on this journey. Because like Misty, you are it's very common to get a lot of people who are new to this, who are learning and just, kind of gathering all their little pieces of information to incorporate it into themselves. And the beauty of that is you get to pick and choose what works for you and what doesn't. And like I said, find your new truth, release all those old truths. And as you do that, you'll find your inner peace coming more and more into alignment. Yeah. Awesome. Well, this was such a pleasure, guys. And hopefully I'll see you again at another event soon.
Bye.
Thank you for coming.